I just thinking about how you design. I was thinking about my friend Ashley Everington. Ashley did his PhD in some kind of thermal high energy physics with Peter Landshoff, and I think he finished in 2003 or 2004. 2003, I suppose. I'm not sure. His viva was a bit protracted, but he was going to be an airline pilot, and then he took a job working for an engineering company in Bedford, and he was working on finite element analysis codes for, I think it was for aircraft design. And then after that he went and worked in the city, and he was working on financial instruments. And the last I saw him was my daughter and I went to see him. We went and stayed a night in his flat in London. He had a flat in the Docklands somewhere. And we went to see him and stayed the night before we caught our train across on the train to Paris, from London to Paris. And then I talked to him once, I emailed him once later, and he'd been on a trip to California. And he was friends with Jackie Gargett at Cambridge. And I wrote to Jackie a few months ago, said hello, and asked her whether she'd heard from Ashley or not. I didn't get a reply from her. But it'd be good to hear from Ashley again. He once waxed lyrical about the beauty of Cauchy convergence. And he was right. It took me a long time to appreciate it, but he was right. And so I've been it's bizarre bloody crap. So there's somebody on comments on David Lynch's weather report who calls themselves Ashley, 2 words, and I've just been communicating with him as if it's Ashley, wondering if maybe it'll get through to him. But it's interesting how the idea of complete metric spaces and Allman's agreement theorem connect up to the idea of I can't remember whether it was Warren Buffett who said that he tried to understand the maths behind derivatives, and he couldn't. But I think there's a sensible way of doing it. And I was also thinking about design. When you design something, like when Donald Trump decided to raise billions for a border wall to get votes, somebody must have done he must have consulted somebody. I mean, you don't just sit down in the White House, and somebody must have been taking in proposals and analyses and presentations of presumably some classy engineering consultants and people like this who did studies and came up with solutions and presented them. I'd be really interested to know what they came up with, because what they've actually produced is a fucking unbelievable, it's a fucking crime. I'll post a CBS News report about the number of accidents that are happening now on sections of the wall which are this extra high. And the expense of that steel is just eye-watering. I don't know how you justify that use of resources and energy and material. And what were the criteria of success for the solution? I mean, what did they think they would, how did they measure their, surely when you come up with a solution, don't you come up with some kind of metric which allows you to judge whether you've actually achieved the goal or not, or whether you fucked up? Probably not, because somebody would be very broke right now. And what do? Do you insure a project like that against a complete fuck up? I mean, do you get somebody to actually underwrite, what if we build this border wall and it's just a fucking pile of crap and it doesn't work, it doesn't change anything, it doesn't solve the problem, or in fact it makes it worse? Can you insure a project like that? Is there any kind of structure in finance that actually in any way attempts to introduce accountability into the deals? I mean, if the deal was just to win a lot of Democrat votes, then I don't know. It's so fucking stupid. It would be nice to talk to Ashley about, I had some ideas about parameterizing finite element analysis codes. So you could actually roll the calculation into the parameters. I'm sure you can do something like that. I haven't thought about it for a while, and I've probably forgotten it, but it was connected with my ideas of using stochastic solvers for differential equations. Surely Elon Musk has a whole lot of people working for him that do stuff like this, because when you're designing rockets and stuff, you really need that. But then the way they're doing it, those videos that I saw of test firings and things, it really indicates that they don't have any computational backup, that they're relying on actual physical experiments and doing those burns. And it's just it looked to me, when I saw it and they were blowing up every now and then, it just looked like an absolute fucking shambles. So how does Truth Social work? How do people find out this stuff? Huh. I'm just going to finish my beer. That's enough of that.